Good. How are you guys?
Matt Patricia talked.
Yep.
Matt Patricia talked this morning about just having fun with some of the conversations that he has with being a defensive-minded coach and kind of sharing his perspective with you and getting a perspective back from you. Just can you talk about that now that we're a little bit more into the off-season? You guys have had some time together. Maybe a specific example, if there is one, of maybe something you saw or he saw, or.
I don't know if there's a specific example, but we're both competitive people. He's competitive out on the field. I'm competitive. He's asking me nonstop. I'm talking to him nonstop. He's out there a bunch as a head coach, kind of standing behind me, looking at the defense and seeing it kind of as I see it. So there's constant back and forth of, hey, what'd you see? Did this guy give it away? Whatever. But we're always talking.
Do you have a sense of how different a defensive guy sees the game than you do? Like how different a defensive coach sees the game than you do, and how that might be able to help you?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to other defensive coaches before too. It's not like I never talked to Terrell Austin or any of those guys too. So it's always unique. Every defensive coach kind of has their own philosophy in this. I'm sure Coach Patricia's will be different than the guys that have been here before. So it's always fun to kind of pick the brain of the other side and see what they're seeing and what they're trying to take away and what they're trying to force you to do.
How different is the defense that you're seeing now? Just from
we're in, just the most beginning stages of. They're just getting lined up, and it's going to be different, I'm sure, come training camp and all that too. So it'd be really hard for me to comment on that.
One thing about that, though, this in general, what's it like playing a defense like the Patriots? It's really truly multiple, opponent to opponent. They have a different way of playing.
Yeah, I guess, in my past history of playing games against them, they are very week to week, very multiple, can look one way one week, another way another week. Our team will be different. I'm sure we're going to have our own things that we're good at, things that we're not good at in every aspect of the team. So we'll try to do what we're good at more often than not and be successful there.
What's the spirit of the players like out there? It seems that I'm hearing the word grinding a lot from everybody. So, is it a positive thing that everybody seems to be on the same page already?
Yeah, I think so. We're all just, working to try and be better. There's a lot to improve, both individually and as a unit, whether it be offense, defense, special teams, or as a team. This time of year is a great time to look at yourself and find ways to be better, personally, and then, as a guy like myself, a leader of the team, trying to, push guys all in the same direction, get us on the same page as quickly as possible.
Matthew, there's a lot of opportunity in your tight end room this year. A guy like Michael Roberts, who I think last year you guys kind of really committed to his blocking and improving that. What kind of all-round weapon do you think he can be in his second season?
I think we've got a lot of talented guys in that room, honestly. I think it's going to be a fun spring and into summer to see kind of how that shakes out. They're all working extremely hard. Really all of them learning still a system that's somewhat new to him. Mike obviously has a year under his belt, but, a couple of those guys are brand new into it as well. So just trying to nail down the fundamentals, the basics, and go from there and kind of just, let those guys play and see what happens.
First impressions of Frank Ragland, he's kind of stepped right in and kind of thrown the fire.
Yeah, I think, again, we're in constant rotation, it seems like, all over the place, and we're just going out there trying to execute the basics of our offense. Obviously, he's been in there some and doing a nice job. He's a young player. He's a rookie. He's got a lot to learn, both from our offense standpoint, but situationally aspects of the NFL, how to just survive in this league. So he's got a good group of guys in that room to help him and bring him along. But all those young guys up front have done a nice job.
Mr. Stafford.
No, he doesn't say much to me.
With the young offensive linemen, obviously they have their own coaches and they've got their own veteran leaders in that room, but you had Decker and Glasgow. What role do you play as the starting quarterback in bringing them along and helping them understand protections, things of those nature?
Yeah, I think there's just a constant dialogue going. It's such a the quarterback to the offensive line and vice versa. Communication is so key. What I'm saying to those guys, what they're receiving and how they're thinking, how they're seeing the defense compared to how I'm seeing it is a huge thing. Obviously, the center and I have to be on the same page quite often. And, even in the run game, the way they're blocking it and expecting where backs to go and all that kind of stuff, communication is so key. And that's another thing that you kind of build during this time of year. You're getting a bunch of reps and a bunch of chances to go back and look at it on film and say, how can we be better? And, it's important. I do everything I can to try to communicate what I'm thinking, and hopefully it makes sense to those guys, and we go from there.
Matthew, what's your opinion on the anthem rule that the NFL passed yesterday?
Listen, we haven't talked about it as a team, and we'll figure all that stuff out when it comes to September. I'm not too worried about it at the moment. I'm just focused on trying to get better.
At the moment, Garrett Blunt's resume, just the look he has, is a short yardage guy. What a sort of sensitive guy I've been just in the brief time with him together, filling that role.
I think he, like a lot of our running backs and really backs all across the league, man, it's kind of hard to judge those guys right now. We don't have any pads on. Nobody's really trying to tackle them. Those guys make their money on, missed tackles and running. But he's obviously a big dude. Big physical guy. Obviously, he's played in some big-time games for some successful teams. So it's nice to have him in that room, I think, and have some of our younger guys kind of pick his brain and just see what he's all about.
You mentioned going through the basics. Is that much easier for you now because you've been in this offense for 3-4 years and you're one of the few guys on this roster who's 30 or over?
Yeah, I think the longer you're in an offense and the scheme part of it is easier for you. You're just nitpicking yourself and finding ways to be better as an individual player, and that's kind of how I am. I'm obviously trying to continue to grow in our scheme and figure out ways to be better and get us into the right play more often. But it's the way this whole off season is set up is just a way to fundamentally be better and find time and ways to get yourself better as an individual player.
Where are you nitpicking yourself?
All over the place.
We don't know how it'll shake out, obviously, but with Frank playing left guard to start out, you've never had a rookie center. I think, Travis had a little bit of experience before he really moved into that role. You had Dom before that. What's the benefits, especially early in this part of the offseason, just to have a rapport with the center that's been in the same system as you for some time, as opposed to maybe throwing a young guy in there?
Yeah, I don't think doesn't mean young guys can't do it. You see them step in and play well across the league, but it is it's a very mental position. There's a lot that goes into it, and the more familiar you are, with the NFL and all that, just how schemes are played and how defenses are played, what you're trying to do on offense. I think the more experiences that those guys have, the better they can be. But you see guys step in as rookies and play at all pro level too. So we'll see. We're all just competing and trying to get better.
More questions?
Nice.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.